So I'm reading this memoir by Veer Das. It's called The Outsider, where he talks about he grew up in Africa,
Ah.
and wherever he went, he felt like an outsider because he was perceived like that. Like when he was in India, when he was in the West, working in the West. I want to know that have you ever also felt like that? Because to a Telugu audience, you're like someone who's come from San Francisco. To a Hindi audience, you're like, okay, he's a Telugu actor, but you're all of it and more. So how do you really grapple with that?
यहाँ वो था बिकॉज सी ग्रोइंग अप आई ग्रो अप इन द यूएस एट अ टाइम जहाँ पर ये पूरा आईटी इन्वेजन नहीं हुआ था.
हाँ.
तो तेलुगु वाले थे ही नहीं, सिर्फ पंजाबी गुजराती थे. तो मेरे दिमाग में एक साइकोलॉजिकली इट वाज लाइक माँ पापा से तेलुगु में बात करो, दोस्तों से हिंदी में बात करो और बाकी दोस्तों से अमेरिकन इंग्लिश में बात करो. लाइक दिस वाज माय 3
Compartments.
compartments of sorts. And that same year that I told you I'd come to Mumbai to audition for Ram Gopal Verma's movie, I remember, I tell this story a lot, but I remember, seeing an ad in the paper for open casting call auditions and going there. And it was for a TV serial. I didn't even know what a serial was at that time because US में कुछ और बोलते थे. Let's call it a TV show. So they told me, read this. I did, and they said, आपकी हिंदी में there's an accent. आप कहाँ से हो? I said, I'm from San Francisco. They said, हाँ तभी आपकी वो American accent ना. So when I went back to for another audition the next week at the same place, I told them this time I'm from Hyderabad. They said, हाँ तभी आपकी accent में ना वो South का एक feeling है. So I was like, oh, okay. So I always had this sense that I was too Indian for America. I was too American for India. I was too North Indian for South India. I was too South Indian for North India. So
Was that also an incentive behind creating stuff for yourself?
Sure. And I also think it's probably why I'm simultaneously local and not at the same time. मतलब मैं जो कहानी लिखता हूँ या मैं जिस किस्म की फिल्म में एक्टिंग करना पसंद करता हूँ, it can be situated anywhere. आप उसको लंदन में सेट कर लो, दिल्ली में सेट कर लो, हैदराबाद में सेट कर लो, फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा. At the same time, the Indian in me makes it rooted.
Yeah.
So,
but does it also give you an edge because you've lived there? So does it also allow you to make a film which is rooted in India but also for the world to see?
I hope so. I never thought about. I mean, I got offered a couple of English films in the past, but it has to really be of note. तो मुझे इतना जमा नहीं. But at the end of the day, even growing up in the States, the dream was always Indian films. I loved watching and being a part of Indian cinema more. But those films influenced how I approach Indian film, I think.
Makes sense. I think till, if I'm not wrong, even in Kshanam, which was, I think, after that you've been like established as a lead actor and you've consistently done lead parts. But even in that film, you're, if I'm not wrong, like an investment banker from San Francisco.
I am.
It is still that, like that bias is still there or that perception is still there. So now do you think you've been able to break it after, say, Gudachari, Major?
Yeah, I think so. I think Kshanam was my last film as the NRI actor. And Kshanam इतनी हिट हो गई थी यार, मतलब मुझे याद है वाइजैग में कहीं प्रमोट कर रहे थे, second week of release. I suddenly get a call from Taranadar sir and he loved the film. He says, hey, I'm putting you on speakerphone, and he gets me to talk like 8 other actors there in the room. And they're all like praising me, और मैं वहाँ पर एक स्कूल के बच्चों के बीच में खड़ा हूँ and I'm like, thank you. So I think that was my first sense of credibility and people not looking at me as the indie actor or the indie filmmaker, but rather someone of substance. And it was my first taste of, people saying they're fans of your work and people saying, can you tell me if you're doing another film, I'd love to work with you. My first taste of people saying, ab next film banaoge, I'm going to come to theatre first day. My first taste of all that stuff.
Yeah. Who were those actors who really like reached out to you?
अरे आप क्या बताऊँ?
You can't.
Partially also because I didn't work with a lot of them. So.
Okay. Good. But there were also this patch of a couple of films where you were slotted as the bad guy.
I was before that. Before
Before
Kshanam,
that, yeah. So what was that about? Why were you good enough to be a bad guy but not the lead actor?
I think that's the route ना मतलब हम जब बाहर से आते हैं you don't necessarily come from a film background. अपने आप को प्रूव करने के जो तरीके हैं they're very few. And yeah, you know, it's the same story of, for example, Rajni sir, Chiranjeevi sir, Shatrughan Sinha sir, all these people, all these legendary actors जो पहले they were the baddies, and then I think if I'm not mistaken, some of these movies the audiences would be cheering जब baddie hero को मार रहा है. so I think you become a star in your own right. I think a film that did that for me was Panja, which really sort of you know, like I would have women reach out to me saying, I loved how you were beating someone up. I'm like, oh my God, I'm a really cruel guy in the movie, don't like that.
Yeah.